Morning folks, how are you? So I've been doing a little bit of reflecting, bit of self-reflection since my last video, and I've been thinking a little bit like, well, there's a lot of fear-mongering going on about Glastonbury, and there's a lot of hype about what's going on the streets of Glastonbury. And I've been sort of thinking there's also so much positive stuff here. And I was also reflecting on the power of technology to influence people's perceptions of things. So because I went into my fear mode, I was affecting one of my viewers in terms of her desire or wish to actually come and visit Glastonbury, painting it as quite negative. And sure, there is that aspect to Glastonbury. And I can't say that I'm not concerned about recent events. However, I've been sort of taking a bit more of an eagle's eye view and looking at it as a whole, of Glastonbury as a whole, and also techniques that the globalists have used in the past and are very likely to use again in different circumstances. So I've been taking a bigger view, and I'm just sort of realising that we as a community, actually, it's our responsibility to look after each other, isn't it? Whether people are homeless, whether people are addicts, we are all part of the community. And as such, people shouldn't be ostracised. But at the same time, people should not feel threatened or that their town centre is a no-go zone as well. So I've got some conflicting things going on. We're all paradoxes, but those conflicting thoughts have been going on in my head. So first of all, I'd like to sort of point out that, yes, there's Glastonbury High Street, but there's so much more to Glastonbury. There's the myths, there's the legends, there is the land. The magic of the land pulls people in. So, Glastonbury, or Avalon, is not just about the high street and what happens there. And yes, there's been some negative things happening on the high street. But yes, equally, there's been people getting awakenings, getting downloads by climbing the Tor. A friend recently sent me a beautiful downloaded poem of the Tor speaking to her about the World Heritage, and I would love her to speak it for the film that I'm making, and I'd love to share it here if I could, if she will allow me to use the poem. So as well as, I guess everything's a contradiction, so I guess just to paint Glastonbury as this place that full of drug addicts and negativity, that's not a fair way of really painting the picture of a very beautiful and very life-changing place where spiritual seekers come from all over the world. I was at a conference at the weekend. I was asked to speak about grassroots activism, and people had come from Florida, Czechoslovakia. They'd flown from all corners of the globe to come here, and and this happens on a daily basis, and that is beautiful. And these are pilgrims. But what we're really saying is we don't want those people who are going to tick it off on a bucket list, that they don't feel like a calling to come here. So what I wanted to also mention was about psyops, psychological operations. So in the last few years, we've seen quite a few examples of that. So in the years where the injection, shall we say, was introduced, throughout those years, I guess if you look at a pattern that they have a problem, they fearmonger, then they talk about the problem, and then they produce a solution to that problem. And we see that very clearly during the last 5 years, yeah? And a few of my friends who are very politically astute and know how these things operate they're pointing out that what might well be happening in Glastonbury is that it's being painted as this very negative place, the high street and everything, you know. And what's going to happen is in will come the solution. You know, the solution won't be spending money on homeless centres or rehabilitation centres. The money will be spent on turning Glastonbury into a museum and probably eradicating these people from the town in the way of the World Heritage Site status. So it was quite interesting. This morning I was chatting to a friend and she was saying how it actually came from county council level, not just the town council level. So we're talking hierarchy here as well. So just think about it, you know, there is a pattern to this. Oh, sorry, Magic. There is a pattern to how these things work. So I think we need to, you know, really think deeply about the techniques that are being used, just like the Delphi technique that Sandy Adams talks about, where they get a constructed sort of outcome of things. So I think we need to sort of think more deeply. And I also want to apologise. I don't feel that my previous video, although I probably won't take it down, was very compassionate. And I myself have actually lived amongst addicts and homeless people for a few years. I spent 2 years in Bath living in Snow Hill. If any of you know that place, it's a council estate and basically there's a lot of dealers there, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of heroin, and you know, so I don't want to come across as not being compassionate, because I know that a lot of these people, the majority of them, have had some kind of trauma, and drugs are their way of masking that trauma or dealing with that trauma, really. And a lot of it is sexual abuse, unfortunately, from my experience of knowing these people and living amongst these people as well. So I just want to send my apologies if I seemed a bit reactive in my last video. And I want to just, see a bigger perspective on this. And those of you thinking of coming to Glastonbury, please come to Glastonbury, because you will have an incredible time and you will resonate with places here. So many have had past lives, you know, here, and it's been a place of great healing, great spiritual awakening. So I urge you to come. I really, really do. So I love having my B&B guests, all of them so different, coming for different reasons. But please do come to Avalon, and, you know, please don't be put off by, you know, what's going on in Babylon on the high street. Right, thank you so much for watching. Take care now.